Do you remember maybe back in your college days, being at the club, had a few drinks, lock eyes with someone, like, hey, let's go make a move. So you walk over there, you guys exchange your names. Then all of a sudden, their friend comes by, takes him away, and you never see him the rest of the night, and then ever again. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, they might have dealt with something very similar here lately. Well, welcome in Chiefs Kingdom to Chiefs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs, usually in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Welcome in. Happy Monday, start of the week. And look at this. We're back in the studio that started it all. Yes, as I mentioned, I'll be going back and forth in between studios, but this week we are back in the regular, more fun studio, I would say. So appreciate you guys sticking with me. We got a lot to talk about, but before we do, you guys know the drill. We're trying to get to 1,000, and we're almost there. I still can't believe it, but we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month. So if you haven't already, it takes 5 seconds. I just need you to hit that subscribe button, and also make sure you turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Cheifs Latest, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding this team, so please hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Well, yes, we know it was a quiet deadline for the Chiefs, but it wasn't because Brett Veach wasn't trying. Now, there's reports saying that the Chiefs made a strong late push for Seahawks linebacker Boye Mafe. And folks, it almost happened. That's the key word there, almost. Mafe's been on the trade block all season, and Adam Schefter said it got so close that one report, one source even thought that it was a done deal. But Seattle, they're contending. They're having a great season. They wanted to hold on to their pieces, and they even added Rashid Shaheed in the process. So they're not only keeping what they have and what's working, but they're also adding on to it. So the compensation from this trade, or the potential compensation, never leaked. Seattle just pulled out at the last second. But hey, I would have liked to see, Mafe teamed up with Spags, see if this coordinator could have unlocked his potential, because Mafe showed promise that first 3 seasons. And this is Spags who did the same with Drew Tranquill, and it worked. I mean, he unlocked potential there, so turning him into a key piece for this defense. So right now, the Chiefs defense has 20 sacks, so they're tied there around the 20th in the league. George Karlaftis has 5 alone. He leads the team. I mean, he's really taking the lead on his shoulders. He's putting the pass rush on his back. The rest of the DN room, the rest of the pass rush here, Omenahue, Dana, Gelati, 3.5 sacks combined. Mafe, he brings 70.5 pass rush grade. That's 42nd, over 20 quarterback pressures as well, and 1 sack. Of course, you want to see more sacks, but the film shows that he would have been an upgrade for this room, especially with what we have right now. This was one of the 2 near misses, of course. We know, remember, Veach offered a 2026 fourth round for Breece Hall. The Jets wanted a third. Wasn't going to get the deal done there. So it's still nice to see that Beach at least made an offer to add to the pass rush. As I was saying, I think that was more of a crucial area to attack in the running back room, and we just needed this. Sadly, it didn't happen. 20 sacks, it's not going to cut it. Karlaftis, he can't do it alone. Chris Jones isn't being as effective as he can be. It's kind of sad. So it would have been nice to see him, but hey, just because we didn't get him now before the trade deadline doesn't mean that it's over. The former 2022 second rounder, he might be able to make his way to Kansas City, but it won't be till next year. The fact that there was even a push to bring him into KC makes you question, brings up some rumors if the Chiefs could target Mafe when he hits free agency in March. The 26-year-old's rookie contract expires after the 2025 campaign, but it'll come down to the hands of the Seahawks and if they want to give him an extension or not. But why would they keep him if they didn't plan on it? That's kind of where we sit. But Leo Chanel, Jack Cochran playing on expiring contracts. The Chiefs linebacker room, it might require some juice in the offseason, and likely is going to require some juice in the offseason. That's without mentioning how fan favorite disruptor Tranquill, he's now in his 30s, and his contract will be up after the 2026 season. So it's easy to see why Mafe was already on Kansas City's radar and could be again here in free agency. While Mafe recorded 12 sacks over his initial 2 seasons, including a career-high 9 in 2023, he's seen his snaps decrease since Mike McDonald took over as head coach back in 2024. And he's only started in half the games this season, hence why he doesn't have that great of stats, making it reasonable to think why the Chiefs thought he was going to be up as a trade piece. Mafe has 9 pass breakups through his first 3 seasons. Having said that, he's having a down year. Again, the Chiefs probably thought, hey, we could get him at a decent price. He'll be able to be attained earlier this week. Sadly, that was not the case. So whether he has a strong finish to the season or not, Mafe is still someone that Kansas City, I think, at least should consider pursuing, as he's still on the right side of 30 at 27 years old, especially if you can sign him for cheap, because over the cap has the Chiefs projected to be more than $42.8 million over the 2026 salary cap, meaning that money must be shuffled if they want to pursue Mafe or honestly any free agent. So restructuring a few contracts would need to be accomplished. I think that's going to be accomplished anyways, especially if the Chiefs are confident that moving him to Kansas City could take his game to the next level. But again, it all comes down to how cheap you'd be able to attain him if you think he's going to be a good fit in Kansas City, this and that. But hey, we can't keep talking about the past here. What happened has happened. What we couldn't get, we couldn't get. So, do you remember that group of 3 that I mentioned earlier and their combined 3.5 sacks? Well, okay, we got to step it up now. There's no one that's coming into this room from a trade that's going to help. So that points our fingers towards Dana, because he's been starting and he only has 1 sack so far. And that's just not cutting it. And it doesn't get any prettier with just 3 quarterback pressures, 3 hits, 2 tackles for loss, and an interception. Yeah, the pick is nice, but struggling to get to the quarterback is not what we signed him up for here. The Chiefs inked Dana to a 3-year, $24 million contract last season in April, coming off a career high 6.5 sacks and 21 quarterback pressures in 2023. But since then, 4.5 sacks, 14 pressures in his last 20 regular season games. While the trade fell through, maybe this hopefully lights a fire under him, because now there is no excuses. In the offseason, the Chiefs, they could use the out on his deal for 2026, only $2 million dead cap hit. Smart money there. I don't know. This is now his chance to prove it. So if Dana is going to start or play reasonable minutes, he needs to deliver. 1 sack in 9 games is unacceptable. This trade miss and is his opportunity now to step up, or he'll probably have to step aside, because having a pass rush, we can't do this again next season. We're seeing how it's playing out right now. Speaking of this season, we all know it's a big week. AFC West foe, Denver Broncos. We're just trying to get to the playoffs. We're outside looking in. So sitting at 5-4, what does it look like at this angle? Well, since the 1970 merger, there have been 276 teams at 5-4 after 9 games. Most of them did not make the playoffs, but 121 of them did. That's 44%. Just 46 or 17% won their division. 6 of those teams, or 2%, went to the Super Bowl, and 2, less than 1%, went and won it all. So yeah, the Chiefs have dug a deep hole. Less than half of 5-4 teams in the modern era make the postseason, and only a tiny fraction come close to a title. But looking at history, in 2002, the AFC had 6 5-4 teams, and the average is 5. In those parity years, the AFC champ was a 5-4 team. Ravens in 2000, Patriots in 2001, and both went on to win the Super Bowl. Under Andy Reid's 12 season, Kansas City has had a winning streak of at least 5 games every year. 2015 started 1-5, won 10 straight. 2023, 9-6 after the Raiders humiliation, won 6 straight. Then you were back-to-back Super Bowl champions. 2021 was another 5-4 season after 9 games. Finished 7-1, 12-5, beat the Bills 42-36 in overtime. One of the greatest playoff games ever. Then they had that 27-24 overtime loss to the Bengals in the AFC title. But that outlier, 7 AFC teams were 5-4, including the Bengals then. So 5-4, yes, it's a tough position to be in. But Reid's streak of winning 5 every year, that's huge. This team, they're facing serious pressure. Yes, we get that. But we've done it before. 2021, 2023, similar, if not the same kind of spots. And those ended in pretty positive ways. Well, that is all for you guys on this lovely Monday. Let's hopefully have a great start to the week. Again, a big matchup this weekend. We'll be previewing it all week. You want to stay with us for coverage. So, of course, again, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We need your guys' help by the end of this month. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. I am your host, Calvin Silvers. Thank you for tuning into Cheifs Latest, and until next time.